Canelo Berlanga, that was a good fight.
Really good fight.
I think disappointing from Joshua.
Great performance by Dubois, wasn't it? Baterbiev, Bivol. Boxing fans were 50-50.
That's where the two closest matched opponents of the whole year.
Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. Really great fight this, and it was a fight that I thought was going to be boring.
I think we need to mention they're the best promo video ever. Do we give like Usyk has had the best year of any of the boxers?
I'd throw Dubois up there, to be fair.
Then one of the super middleweights, Mbilli versus Derevyanchenko. Super middleweight.
Yeah.
I think this was on the... and there was also Bohachuk and Ortiz Jr.
Yeah, that's right.
On the same card, wasn't it, I think?
And Billy's a Frenchman, isn't he?
He's Canadian, but French-Canadian. Fights out of Canada. And then... I think his star has risen through the year because he's had a few fights and quite well, good performances.
I like Mbilli.
So we had him and Munguia, but I think Munguia's has gone down, as we've said. And I think
Mbilli's
has gone up.
Yeah.
And tough fight against Derevyanchenko, but I think he won. He came through.
Yeah.
And that's always a good measure of are you contended against Derevyanchenko, who's getting towards the end of his career, but is a good.
Yeah, no, Mbilli was really good.
And then Bohachuk Ortiz was a
which Bohachuk
contender,
won.
I think, for the Ortiz one, but it was a close fight.
So Ortiz won 10 rounds, do you think?
No.
We didn't win the fight.
He wasn't Usyk Fury.
Bohachuk
knocked him down 2 or 3 times. So.
Exactly. So how many rounds does Ortiz have to win then?
Lots.
Exactly.
He won. What did we have as the official? Let me just see what did we got there. Bring up the official scorecards. Have I got them? Yeah, it was a majority decision. One was 113, 113. One was, and then 2 cards, 114, 112. So it was pretty close. And Ortiz was down twice. So, yeah. I think it was the correct result. And that's not that far from the cards.
But what do you know?
But a draw could be... I'm like the AI. I score like the AI.
Yeah, we know. We know what the AI is all about. Jesus.
It's neutral. It takes it's logical.
Neutral, whatever.
It counts the punches and works out who's the aggressor. I think this could have easily been a draw, and you could.
Thing is both fighters move on now. You had Bohachuk fighting in Riyadh season a couple of weeks ago. Return with another victory. Obviously, not against the opponent he wanted, but that's good. Ortiz is fighting against the opponent he wanted.
Yeah.
I
think Madrimov and Bohachuk, as we said, would have been a big fight.
Big fight. But Ortiz has got a huge fight.
He's managed to get the Madrimov fight, so...
Yeah.
I think that, as we've said, this division is stacked and we need to see. I think Bohachuk, credit to him, because like you said, against Ortiz, you could easily see a draw. You could see it go either way. It was a close fight. I just think Ortiz was slightly better boxing. Bohachuk is just like a machine. He's got the power. He's got the thing. As he's shown in the fight afterwards, it would have been fantastic to see Madrimov and him. It would be fantastic to see it again, I think, irrespective of the results that they get. So credit to them and to Ortiz as well. I think to get through the 2 knockdowns and that's one of the fights of the year. Do you agree? Ortiz and Bohachuk. Or contenders for fight of the year.
Didn't even make me top 5.
Of best fights?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to give some contenders and then we'll see what people say. We get the comments let us know in the comments what you think are contenders for the fights of the year 2024. And then we had our man Inoue, the monster, versus Doheny. I think a bit of a strange opponent there. Although Doheny is in the top 10 list and I think he's the highest the one available at the time.
Yeah, it was just
that was more a routine performance, shall we say, for the monster. He did what he does, and credit to Doheny for getting to 5 or 6 rounds, I think. But it was just there. Canelo Berlanga, that was a good fight.
Really good fight. Really good fight.
For good performance. And yeah, Canelo did what Canelo does. But I think that shows how good Berlanga was. Put up a really good
he did put up a really good fight. He's such a young lad as well. So
yeah. So one to watch there, I think, as well.
Definitely.
Berlanga is good. Undercard, there was quite a lot of fights on there. Stephen Fulton, disappointing in his return.
Yeah, he was, to be fair.
I can't remember the fight that much because
that's how disappointing it was.
Yeah. Who else was?
You had Lara, Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
Lara's how old? 41, 42. And he looked about 15 years younger than Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
Danny Garcia looked like an old man in there.
Garcia looked like he shouldn't have been in there.
Yeah, and I don't know whether he has announced his retirement now, Danny Garcia. And
Lara's still the champion in
the so
division.
Yeah, it was very good.
And then one of the, should we say, another
Riyadh season was September 21st.
Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois headlining.
For the IBF title. Great performance by Dubois, wasn't it?
I think disappointing from Joshua.
I
think this was supposed to be setting up a potential Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury fight. Unfortunately, neither of the fights for the set went the right way.
It was, it was a good fight.
I
Great
think
win for Dan Dubois.
Star has risen this year, and it was disappointing last year. Well, his performance against
performances have gone up.
Yeah, and beaten Joshua, and he's now belt. And this was for the IBF title.
He needs to just shut up, Daniel Dubois, and not talk.
Well, I wasn't going on his performances outside the ring. I mean,
inside the ring. Inside the ring, his performances are great. Just shut up. Don't talk, because you can't. And you're not good in front of the camera. And just let your boxing do the talking, and we'll follow you. We'll back you. But just stay quiet and stay humble. So
he has become now world champion, although
he's got a huge fight with Joseph Parker.
Again on the February card.
I get the feeling he's a bit overconfident for that.
Well, there's a lot of people who think Parker is going to be.
Yeah. Daniel Dubois.
Parker has had a good
Daniel
year as
Dubois is already calling out Usyk, which is a stupid thing to do, because, like I say, Parker is a very live opponent.
Well, I think Parker and Dubois are two of the fighters who've had disappointing in, I think, 23, etc., but have come back, their star has risen, got back into that contention of being.
Well, no, Parker's 2023 was quite good.
Well, I mean,
because he beat Wilder.
2022 was his weaker year. He's got better as they've come along, and Dubois sort of recovered, bounced back from his. So they've had some good results, good performances, and now are in contention. It's 50-50. I think that's a close fight.
Yeah, very close fight.
I can see either of them win. I do think Parker's slightly better boxer than Dubois, though. So, yeah.
We shall see.
We will find out. I think it was a British undercard on that.
It was at Wembley Stadium, wasn't it?
Hamza Shiraz had a...
Hamza Shiraz, great performance. Well, just dispatched the guy in 2 rounds.
Billiam-Smith was disappointing.
Billiam-Smith.
Did Billiam-Smith fight on there? He was on one of the undercards, wasn't he?
He wasn't on that one. Joshua Buatsi against Willie Hutchinson.
Or did he pull? That's a bit.
And you had Anthony Kakachi against Josh Warrington, which I think Josh Warrington retired over that. Anthony Kakachi was just too big and too strong. Josh Warrington moving up in weight. Buatsi was one of them. It was a good performance, but like a disappointing performance at the same time. If he put his pedal to the metal, he could have got rid of Hutchinson. I think the star of the show was Daniel Dubois and Hamza Shiraz, to be fair. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah, as we said, Hamza Shiraz's star has risen.
Yeah.
And there's... Hopefully we'll be seeing more of him in this fight, where we are going to be.
Yeah.
And going for world titles and see if he is world-class and elite level, etc.
Takes us into October.
Where do we stop? There
quick one in October. Being in October, you had Nick Ball defending his WA featherweight title in Liverpool in front of his home fans against Ronny Rios. 10th round stoppage. I think Nick was just trying a little bit too hard in that fight. Although, yeah, he's got the win. I think he was just trying to please the fans.
Home crowd.
Yeah.
A bit too much.
But he's got another fight coming up, and I think that's in Liverpool as well. So I think he'll learn from that. But yeah. And then the week after, we had the big one.
Janibek.
No.
Bivol and Baterbiev.
Yes.
And they had a really good undercard as well.
Yeah, I mean, quickly on the undercard, you had Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clarke, who at the beginning of the year had an absolute barnstormer, which was a draw. This one was not a draw.
Fairly one-way contest.
Yeah.
I think Fabio Wardley's put himself in that heavyweight contention list.
Nearly, yeah. I'll go with that. Opatai was keeping busy. He got a nice 6-round stoppage against Jack Massey.
Mm-hmm.
Eubank Jr. Don't really want to talk about him, but he had an extremely disappointing fight against Szeremeta, which takes us on to the main event. Baterbiev Bivol. One where I'd say boxing fans were 50-50.
Well, would you say for boxing purists, that's the most technical? That's where the two closest matched opponents of the whole year.
You couldn't
It
pick
should
a
have
winner.
been a draw. I don't think either the guy deserved to lose.
No.
So I think there was a bit of a creativeness
Looking
in the
forward
scoring.
to the rematch.
Yeah.
Both fighters were fantastic.
Yeah. I think they showed why they're number 1 and 2 in that division. Or they're both joint 1, and then there's a distance between two.
So intriguing, and although people say it wasn't an exciting fight, it had you on the edge of your seat because you really didn't know what was going to happen next.
Well, it's a purist fight. They're both so high level. I think that's the closest fight of any fight in the year.
No, it was
and probably the highest technical level when both the fighters are that level.
Yeah.
And it should have been a draw, because I don't think either of them deserve to lose. And especially as you're going to have a rematch, a draw, and then the thing would have been the better result. But yeah. And we've done the undercard up there, didn't it? And then our man Tszyu came back against Murtazaliev, which I think you predicted.
That he would get knocked out.
And he did, quite convincingly. So I think Tszyu star definitely went down. Murtazaliev's, the fight before, had a disappointing performance, but I think that was in like Ramadan season or something. So he was,
and
then he's come back, and Murtazaliev's star has risen.
Took care of him in 3 rounds. I mean, absolutely battered him from pillar to post. It wasn't even close. Tszyu wasn't even in the fight. So, full credit to Murtazaliev, IBF light middleweight champion, and one to watch.
Yeah.
Seriously want to watch.
Super hot. So we need him. We need to see him again.
Yeah.
Tszyu just needs to have a look in the mirror and see what they're going to do if he can come back. But
he might
the
as well
problem is
retire.
that division is just stacked. And then
wasn't many fights in October, was there?
No, we had Jack Cattrall had a fight against Regis Prograis.
That was a great fight. Apart from the first 5 rounds, which were possibly the dullest 5 rounds I've ever seen in a fight. But then it turned out to be an absolute great fight after that. So weird.
Yeah.
Great fight. Loved the respect between the guys before and after the fight, how boxing should be conducted. Regis Prograis, it just showed his age a little bit in ringing activity.
Yeah, he's on the way down, and I think Cattrall's getting into his prime, and then it's basically what they said, and he showed it. And we've said Cattrall is one to watch.
Yeah,
in his division. I think it was back to Boots versus Chukhadzhian, and Bam versus Guevara. We mentioned Bam versus Guevara before. Was a great
the week before that, you had Shaki Foster got his revenge on Robson Conceição.
Conceição, yeah.
Wasn't a great fight, to be honest. But then, like you say, November 9th, Boots, again, not in a great fight.
I think this was a more disappointing performance. Chukhadzhian put on a better performance. The performance of the was Bam versus Guevara. He made it interesting, and then Boots is disappointed a bit. But I think it was more because Chukhadzhian raised his game, and Boots there was this rematch.
Yeah,
so
Boots had already beat him as well, so
and
it just
Boots
wasn't.
Didn't look as motivated as he should be. Yeah. So one disappointing one thing, but Bam continued to rise. Boots did what he needed to do. Won. And then we had a crossover match or a YouTube match. Mike Tyson take on Jake Paul.
Which shouldn't be mentioned.
Most disappointing fight of the year. It wasn't really a fight.
The undercard, we had Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano.
Yeah.
Again, the women's boxing just showing. Wow.
It was a much better fight than
you also have Mario Barrios retaining his WBC title against Ramos. Mm-hmm. Brutal 12 rounds. Scorecards were mad. 114, 112, 116, 110, 113, 113. So yeah, that was a strange one. And
then, the undercard was quite good. The main fight, awful. It wasn't a fight. It was just a pre-decided contest, no contest. Then we had to follow the Riyadh season in the States. We had Latino Night, Riyadh season.
Yeah,
headlined by Zurdo and Chris Billiam-Smith.
Great fight, this.
Yeah,
really great fight, this, and it was a fight that I thought was going to be boring. And it was just...
Well, we were sort of,
it was fantastic.
And I think this has lightened up the cruiserweight division, because obviously we had Opataya, and then it's suddenly...
Both fighters were fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of credit to both.
Zurdo, superb. Chris Billiam-Smith, heart of a lion. Chin of granite.
Yeah.
So, well done to both fellas for that fight. Because, like I say, I thought it was going to be boring. It turned out to be a great fight. And Zurdo impressed me.
Yeah. Well, it's made that cruiserweight division.
He impressed
me. You've got Opataya, you've got him, and then we've got the people we're going to mention a little bit. The other contenders in there. We had Navarrete against Valdez. Navarrete won. Good performance in that fight.
Yeah.
People expected to be close, and he just wore him down and KO'd him. It was really good performance. Paro, we mentioned, against Hitchens, where Hitchens just outboxed him.
Yeah, basically made it a boring fight.
It was really boring compared to the thing. I think Paro tried, but Hitchens is just a level above, so in boxing technique. So it took the belt there. Well done to Hitchens, Richardson Hitchens. And then another back to cruiserweight, Rizicki versus Peralta, which was a rematch as well. The first fight was close and contentious, and a lot of people think Peralta should have won, even though it was given to Rizicki.
The second one, I think they declared it a draw. But
I think most people think Rizicki won. I would say Rizicki won.
You need to sort that little bit of the issues out and titles and stuff on that side, and then hopefully we can get some unifications happening. Middle of 2025.
Well, they need to pick a fight. Whoever's there with Zurdo or Opataya and Co, and whoever they get in there, then there's a lot of good things. Munguia, Surace, but we've already said I was disappointed.
Possibly one of the upsets of the year. That
is. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think many people knew who he's coming. He's never fought outside of France.
Really was one of the upsets of the year.
Munguia knocked him down and then carried on, and then he's just got caught with a punch and just gone.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we had a good performance. Akhmadaliev versus Espinoza. Akhmadaliev and Inoue super bantamweight. He is the other contender in there. And I think he put himself back in
was one of them that I'd never been that impressed with, if I'm honest. But he really impressed me. with his
the star
performance.
was rising, and then he had a close match against Tapales, but Tapales probably took it and then got the 2 belts off him. I think the plan was for him to fight Inoue after Fulton. But because he fell off a little bit, he hasn't. But then he's come back, and I think this was his statement fight to go,
it was a bloody statement.
And yeah, it was a really good performance.
Yeah.
And then we were supposed to have Madrimov and Bohachuk, but we've said what happened there. Bohachuk had to take another fight, but won. Really good performance. And then the rematch of
the heavyweight division, Fury Usyk.
Number 2.
Again, we
I think we need to mention they're the best promo video ever. Well, let us know what you think.
The build
but
up.
We think that's the best.
Fantastic.
And are the best promo videos, have they built up in like the Riyadh type supported fights? Because there was Baterbiev Bivol's was pretty good. And we've had good ones before. The first Fury Usyk one as well. And Joshua had one. I think they had
the 5v5.
The 5v5 had a really good one. So let us know what you think in the comments. How you rank the promo videos.
Yeah, so it was a good end.
Have we missed any?
It was a good end to the year, wasn't it? With that.
Usyk won.
Yeah, Usyk.
I think it was wider than the first fight. Much wider, but obviously
it capped off a good 2024.
Yeah, and I think do we give like Usyk has had the best year of any of the boxers, becoming undisputed heavyweight champion and defending it against some people's favourites as one of the best fighters of all time. Although that wasn't in my thinking.
Yeah, I'd throw Usyk up there. I'd throw Dubois up there, to be fair.
Well, Dubois has become champion because Usyk had to give it up. So
he still had a good year,
performances. No, but I mean in the achievements, not in the performances, in achievements.
Well, now he's become a world champion, so...
Because there's only Baterbiev and Usyk can become undisputed. Because I think undisputed ranks the highest, then world champion, then...
Yeah, but I don't think Daniel Dubois was looking for undisputed. I think for his own personal achievement to become a world champion, that's fantastic. I'd say Bam Bam, phenomenal year.
Yeah.
I put him up there.
Well, in terms of overall best years and where they were, because we already knew Usyk was really good, so stepping up to undisputed isn't really a surprise. I think it is for Fury fans, but anybody else, if you're not like heavily biased towards Fury, it's not that you expected it or thought it's a good possibility. I think if you'd have gone from the end of 2023 and said Daniel Dubois was going to be world champion by the end of 2024, I think that would have been quite a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
Bam Bam, I think, jumping up and doing his performances. I don't think it's unexpected, but I think, he's had epic performances and he's raised his belt. Because I think in 2024, he's got into the top half of pound-for-pound boxers.
He's in the top 3 for me.
I think Usyk's just gone from like 3 to numero uno. And I think Inoue's just stayed there and Crawford's only had one fight, so he's won the world title at another weight class. So there's some great achievements.
Yeah, it's been fantastic achievements. It really, really has been fantastic achievements.
I think Zurdo's become unified champion, hasn't he? At cruiserweight from nowhere, because we didn't have him on our list of cruiserweight
he's picked up 2 belts. You can't say he hasn't had a good year. And he's come up
in weight.
So he's had a fantastic year. There's a few fighters that you'd say you've had really good years. But for me, Usyk, Dubois, Bam Bam, Zurdo, they're right up there with the achievements they've done.
Well, I think where they've gone from 2023, 24.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Baterbiev becoming undisputed. I don't think it should be. That's why I think that one's harder to make, because I think it should have been a draw.
Do you know what Baterbiev? He's had a great year as well, beating Callum Smith. It doesn't matter whether
but on paper, what is the result? He's become undisputed lightweight against one of the best lightweight heavyweights of all time.
He's fought the 2 best light heavyweights around at the time, and he's beat them both. So yeah, you've got to throw him up there.
So let us know what you think in the comments. What is your list of
but then
the best? Who's achieved the most? Who's had the
for
best
achievements? Yeah, but for personal achievements, Hamza Shiraz.
Yeah, I think he's got to be
Moses Tuma, Yanni Beck, like Nick Ball. He goes up there for me.
Well, there's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it depends on performance. Where they've grown from 2023 to 2024 is a different list. And then in terms of achievement, because you've got to put the two undisputed guys at the top. I think Usyk goes number one.
Yeah.
Because undisputed heavyweight is the biggest crown and things. And against, like I said, it's who they consider the opponent. Baterbiev again, because you're against a huge opponent. And like you said, he beat one of the other, contenders at light heavyweight, and then the best light heavyweight.
Yeah.
I think their achievements go there, and then you probably have Zurdo, isn't it, as going from up in weight and becoming unified cruiserweight champion.
You can't knock him. You can't knock Zurdo.
And then bam, because you've just stepped up in weight and won the next weight.
It's not
WBC,
just what he's won.
And redefended it against who he fought.
It's how he's winning it.
And then who he's fought in that, the level of opponent.
Yeah.
So he'd have to be there.
How he's winning it's fantastic.
And then who else we had on our list and things? Who's won? Probably Dubois. Then you would have to put him in because he's become. He wouldn't have expected him to be there.
To beat Hrgović and Joshua.
Nobody expected him to beat either of those.
So fair dues to him. You've got to take your hat off to him. And look, as you well know, I am not a Dubois fan.
Well, neither am I.
But I will take my hat off to him. So yeah.
Well, most people expected Hrgović to beat him. That was the plan of the organising charts. And then Joshua to beat him again, and he's upset the apple cart twice. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think there's there. So let us know in the comments, and we'll do a video on who we think are the winners and things of that, who we think is the best. But fights, top 5 fights, or fight contenders for fights of the year.
Dave Allen, Johnny Fisher.
Yep,
right up there for me. It's just a war, an absolute war. There was one, I don't think we covered it, but we watched it. It was a few months ago, and I said, you need to watch this fight. There's just two lads here battering.
Oh, yeah.
And they were knocking each other
we didn't
down.
do a video on it because it was on the same time as when we already had
do you remember it?
I watched it afterwards.
That goes up there for me.
Mackenzie and somebody, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
We'll look it up and put it in the comments.
I think for sheer excitement, heart pounding, sweating, wanting to just scream and shout. The first Fury Usyk fight, as you well know, because I was. I didn't have a voice. I just think that just got me.
I think it's an emotional roller coaster because the way it went, it started one way, then went another way, then went another way.
That really,
and because what it stood for, I think, is an epic fight.
Just really, I really love that. Chisora Joyce, I thought was a great fight. Mm-hmm. Wardley Clarke, their first one was fantastic. And sometimes it's not always the world champion fights that are the best. I think home domestic fights are something.
I think it's when contenders are in a close thing,
and that's not just in the UK. I think if Mexican contenders on, obviously the Mexican Latino night, when you have Mexicans fighting Mexicans, they're always great. Americans fighting Americans. I think domestic dust-ups are just absolutely superb. But the one that's still fresh in my mind is obviously the first Usyk Fury, but Dave Allen, Johnny Fisher, just.
Well, the thing is, the Usyk Fury is because what's on the line and because the people, and then the way it went one way, then another back was, And I was, like I said, we watched it together, so I can testify to that. The emotional roller coaster there.
Was just
we haven't mentioned, we missed out the Janibek and Mihailovic fight.
Janibek, yeah.
For the worst corner in the history of corner spot, not pulling the guy out when he should have pulled him out.
I watched the video on this.
Yeah.
And apparently, another bloody Australian, wasn't he? Hey, Aussies. He was really, really, really disrespectful to, I think it was Janibek's cornerman.
Well, in the build up, he disrespected Janibek.
Yeah.
He disrespected his coach, and then one of the people in their camp, they sort of met him and just basically disrespected him. So I think they disrespected his manager as well.
Yeah, Janibek didn't actually want to knock him out. He just wanted to.
Well, I did say
him.
There's a bit of personal to this when we did the review. He basically, I watched the after thing as well. He's basically I could have had him out up to 2, but didn't want to.
Yeah.
I wanted to punish him a little bit. That's what I mean. The worst corner. Because one, it wasn't just Mihailovic saying it; it was his coach as well. It was giving him rubbish. So it's basically not just him and his coach.
The worst cornerman definitely goes to him for not pulling him out when he should have done. And worst referee, because the referee should have stopped it.
Should have stopped it before. Because it was basically one-way traffic.
It was basically assault.
And
aggravated assault.
I'm not saying they didn't deserve it, but for considering you're a young fighter who's up and coming and whatever else, I think it also shows the level between elite, world-class, elite fighter and regionally unbeaten fighter, because I don't think he's even world-class. I think, they were upset that the first fight got cancelled because he missed weight or they did something, but he was nearly dying. So whatever's happened, and then he's obviously recovered and that. Yeah, that's fine. You can give a bit of grief, but I think they went a bit too far over the top. And I think that was the worst corner performance of not pulling your guy out when should have done. And referee probably as well for not stopping the fight, because you could just, it's obvious what's happening. You're just getting beaten up. And it's not good for a young fighter to get hurt that much for with nothing going back. I don't blame Janibek for what they did, because if you listen to me, it was me, I'd do the same thing. I think it was not out of order from their part. I think there was a lot of good fights. Credit to the Saudis for pushing boxing along, I think, putting it back into...
Yeah, credit because to the Saudis.
And I think Matchroom and Queensbury for sort of going there first, and then everybody's now on board.
Yeah, it seems to be that everyone is on board now, which is good. I think the Saudis have bought into the zone as well. Queensbury are into the zone. So you got Matchroom and Queensbury on. Well,
I think they jumped up on, but there's the other people have jumped on board now. So Golden Boys jumped in with that. And do you like the fact that they've done the fights in the Riyadh season in the UK, in London, wasn't it? And Riyadh season in the US.
Yeah, do more of it. I'd have a Riyadh season.
Or at least having whatever.
Yeah, I've one in Japan, Mexico, Australia. Do it all over the world. But what I will say is, for the likes of Frank Warren, Ben Shalom, Eddie Hearn, keep pushing your shows as well.
Well, that was going to be my next question better. Is, do you think, because I think Golden Boy have, and PBC, whatever's the one, they're the only one that are not in it, aren't they? Have actually, their undercards have got better.
You've got to make great cards, make great cards, make great fights. 50-50 fights is what we want to see.
And I think that we're going to give credit to the Saudis for starting that, but I think the other people have to, not just rely on Saudi events, do their own events and build them up.
Enjoy the Saudis while they're here. I don't think they're going to be around forever, but jump on the train.
I think it's given that impetus back to boxing to make it
jump on the train.
And and it sort of nicely leads us into 2025. Some epic fights coming up.
Let's hope so.
The February undercard. If that's like a stacked undercard, if that is a sign of things to come, I think we are going to be very happy.
I'm hearing a lot of whispers that Eddie Hearn's got some monsters.
Well, actually, we should do a promoters one as well. Which promoters? Because Eddie Hearn has one of the biggest dips of 2024.
What, because of his losses?
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least he's putting his fighters in 50-50
No, I'm not criticising. I'm just saying that he needs to pull out some wins for his guys. And I think Frank Warren's been done quite well in terms of wins.
Yeah, I think like Eddie Hearn says, he's, if the fighters that he's putting in against in these fights, if they're not beating them, then they're not worthy of it. Let's be honest.
Well, I think he's been unlucky on some decisions.
Yeah, he's been unlucky on some decisions, but then so's every other bloody promoter, you could say.
No, I think you got to give credit to him for keeping putting the people in there, and he's done well, and he's been one of the starts of it. I was just saying he needs to balance out the card now, because a 5v5 10-0 victory, he needs to pull back.
I don't think he's too bothered, really.
No, they're making.
He's still making great fights. Frank Warren's making great fights.
It's nice to see that they're all working together now, rather than before where they were divided.
The young prospects that they've got.
Well, coming on to that, I think His Excellency is making a thing to give young fighters a chance. What's your thoughts on that?
Great. Love it.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Because it's not just making the fights, it's giving them a platform to showcase the talents, which I think is a brilliant,
look forward to it.
Brilliant idea. And he's bought Ring Magazine as well, which...
Yeah. I think what he's also done is he's ended our era of heavyweight boxing.
Oh, yeah. But we're going to say this on the end of...
What I mean by that is...
The Four Horsemen.
For the years now.
Joshua, Fury and Usyk.
Well, let's be honest, no one was mentioning Usyk. So you've got to take him out of it.
I was. Only the Usyk fanboys.
Our era of heavyweight was, like you say, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Dillian White.
Well, I think that the
Alexander Povetkin.
Well, no, I think there's the three at the top was Fury, Joshua, and Wilder, who were the three. And then when Usyk's come up, he's been thrown into that once he's had a couple of fights.
But yeah,
I think the next level was the Dillian Whites.
Yeah,
Chisora's was sort of.
So it is. I think it's the end of that. I think we might get to see a couple of them next year.
Well, the thing is,
I think it is the end of that era.
I think whilst that era's gone, I think he's also reignited the heavyweight.
It has.
Because you've got Dubois.
Yeah,
you've got Parker's come back into life.
Yeah.
You've got Matoma has come in this year.
I just think we've had
Fabio Wardley.
Massive missed opportunities, which I wish the Saudis had come in earlier.
Well, the thing is this, at least they've come in and we've got to see these fights. We've got to see Fury Usyk. We've got to see Bivol Beterbiev.
Yeah, but we never ever got to see AJ Wilder, AJ Fury.
Well, AJ Fury may come up. He's trying.
It's too late now, isn't it? Let's be honest. We wanted to see that
still
5 years, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's... I mean, obviously all eras of boxing come to an end, but I think this is the end of our heavyweight era.
Well,
the
to be
new
honest,
ones
I would say normally you're sad when they go out, but I think there's enough coming through.
I think what the Saudis are doing is they're making the fight happen, which is great. They're all 50-50 heavyweight fights. You can't pick winners. You've got your top 10s, but like I say, some of your young guns that are coming through are
Well, it's exciting again, isn't it? Because you've got, like you said, Atoma's performance. If you look at that, Wardley's won the second performance. Yeah. After if you see the first fight against Clarke, and then you see the second one, and it's just like up. Yeah. And if they can keep going, and the thing is, you're excited because it's knockouts, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you've got like where Parker's gone, Dubois gone, especially after Dubois' performance against Joshua.
Parker and Usyk,
I think it's sort of time for them to come. Yeah. And Caballel has had great.
Parker and Usyk are the last of the. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope we
Parker,
see,
because he's a little bit younger. He's in that little bit of it. But
I hope
he's got a little bit of crossover.
I hope we see the resurgence of AJ and he comes back with a bang. I just don't see it happening. Wilder, I think's done. Dillian White, I think's done.
I think all of them have gone out. The thing is this. I think with the two fights between Fury and Usyk, we've sort of ended it on a good way.
Yeah.
It's disappointing for Joshua, but I think there's the fight for Joshua Fury is still there. I think if they take it seriously and do, there's one last hurrah for both of them, and I think they should retire. I don't think there's any more there for them. No. Usyk, I think, is probably going to go for undisputed again. So the winner, whoever gets the IBF belt, he'll take, and then I think he'll either go back to cruiserweight or go on it. To be honest, I hope he retires. I don't think it's going to be easy to go back to cruiserweight.
Not an option.
Well, I think you should just retire, because what else you got to do? You've done it. You've completed boxing. You can stop. He doesn't need the money. He's got paid really, really well in this fight. And it's done. And then let's see, because you've got the cruiserweight, you've got Opataya, Zurdo, and whoever's going to match up with that. There's a good division. Heavyweight, you've got quite a lot of the people coming into there. So it excites it again, because you don't know who's going to win.
No.
And I think it's built up division. And then there's some other stacked divisions they need to sort out. There's, lightweight is stacked.
Light middleweight stacked.
Super welterweight is stacked, really stacked division. See what the monster does in Inoue. See what Bam's going to do. There's Nakatani we haven't mentioned, who's got a fight coming up as well. We'll try and do, hopefully we'll be able to do some videos of Nakatani, because they're the 3 lower weight superstars. And then you're getting into Nick Ball, and his division is quite well equipped.
Yeah. All the divisions are well equipped. All the divisions are well equipped.
But cruiserweight was boring, and this year it's become interesting.
You've got to make the fights.
Heavyweights come back into it, because there's so many heavyweight fights and contenders now, and even fights, that it's really good. So let us know who you think is the fight of the year, or a list, like top 5, top 10, best improvement of 2024. From where they were, and I think that might be a Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, most probably.
And because I don't think anybody would have predicted you're going to be a world champion by the end of the year. And what you'd like to see coming up, any matches that you'd like to see coming up, I think. And then we'll do a video on, and look out for our one. We will gather the data together and then present what we think as well, present our
let us know.
List of those things. Thank you very much for watching. That's the roundup of the fights in 2024. Only disappointing that we didn't get our Inoue fight for Christmas fight. That would have been the Christmas present of
everyone.
Presents.
Have a great new year.
Yeah, and enjoy all the upcoming things. Well, it's starting good. We got Inoue on the 24th.
Yeah, January's already stacked. February's looking already stacked.
Benavides at the beginning of Feb. You've got the February 22 undercard, which is super stacked. Even with a couple of the changes, it's still super stacked. We'll be making videos on all of those. And then we'll look to see what else comes up, and hopefully it will continue. And there are, from rumours, that a lot of those fights we want to see and yous want to see will be getting made. Thank you very much for watching and supporting us. We've got over 500 subscribers, I think 527 as of this year. So we want to go now for our next target of 1,000. So please help out in that. But thank you for getting us there and supporting all our videos. It's been fantastic. I think we've been really enjoyed.
Man, we've got some plans for next year.
But we've got some new things we will do as well. But let us know what you want to see, how we can improve, make better videos for you, because that's what we do for. We do it for our own fun and making for you. And support the channel as you have done. It'd be great. Thank you very much. See you in all the fights in 2025.
Thank you.